The following presentation is brought to you by the Realm Network.
It's right about time again to swerve again, confuse the general fans again.
Hey, Bubba, I want to ask you this, and I say this all the time, but I've never quite phrased it this way, and I want to ask you this. Bubba, like, a lot of people call Paul Heyman a genius, okay? But they call him a genius for completely different reasons than why I would label him a genius. Because I got to be honest with you, Bubba, from a writing perspective, that's what I do. I'm a writer. When I would watch ECW, it wasn't there really weren't intricate storylines, or the writing never jumped out at me as being genius writing. I always said, Bubba, this was the thing that blew me away with ECW. The time that I did watch it, I would watch it and I would sit back in absolute awe that I was like, oh my God, these guys are absolutely killing themselves. You would tune into ECW thinking, somebody's gonna break their neck tonight, and I'm going to see it. Nothing was held back. I mean, and bro, the thing I hate more than anything is fake, phony wrestling. And today, Bubba, we're still missing clotheslines by 40 feet. Okay, but when I watched ECW, there was nothing held back, and I never saw that kind of a work ethic ever. So when I think of Paul Lee, the reason I think he was a genius is, I always say, the ability to get these guys to perform at the level they performed. They had to love this guy because they literally were putting their bodies on the line for the company. When I look at that, I'm like, that guy's a genius to somehow, some way convince these guys to go out there and do that. But Bubba, I have to ask you this. In the meantime, you guys are doing that. In the meantime, though, pay's late. Some guys aren't getting paid. There's a lot of that going on. So, Bubba, I would have to think a lot of that came out of pride. The Bubbas and the Tazes and the Tommy Dreamers. This was their baby. And they're going to go out there and be the absolute best they can be. The WWE is in the backyard in Stamford, Connecticut. I think a lot of it was based on pride. So that leads me to this question, Bubba. Would a company like ECW, under the same conditions, would that have had the same impact outside of the East Coast?
Sure. Well, I think being on the East Coast helped it because of the passion of the wrestling fans and how rabid the wrestling fans were, especially in South Philly and New York. Now, I'm going to take a couple of the points that you just mentioned, and I'm going to break them down, and I'm going to show you how I kind of disagree with a couple things when it comes to ECW. And, so many people talk about ECW. There are only 5 people that truly, truly know the truth about what went on and can give you the most accurate and honest assessments of that company from the inside out. Paul, Joey Styles, Tommy Dreamer, Taz, and myself. Okay? Now, when it comes to money issues, me and Devon were never owed a dime. Me and Devon never had a bounced check. Me and Devon were paid on time. Paul never owed us anything. So we weren't going out there and killing ourselves, despite the fact that there were light paychecks. We were going out there because we were passionate about what we were doing. Me and Devon were coming up. We were making a name for ourselves. We were doing something different in a very different company that was slowly changing the face of pro wrestling. So that's why we did what we did. As far as him, you don't think he was a genius because you think genius takes, very deep-rooted storylines. Paul Heyman was able to keep Taz and Sabu away from each other for 1 full year before they ever touched at Barely Legal 97, which was ECW's first pay-per-view. And the people for 1 year without these guys touching were kept at a fever pitch. You can't do that today. Mm-hmm. He was able to do that through his storytelling. He was able to do that through Taz's promos. He was able to do that by Sabu never saying a word. What about the Tommy Dreamer Raven storyline? 2.5 years of storytelling. So I think that there was a lot of very deep-rooted storytelling in ECW that gets lost because people think that ECW is just about guys hitting each other as hard as they can with chairs. That was one of the aspects of it that made people sit up and take notice. It's no different than when people went to go see Kiss in 1976 and all of a sudden this demon guy starts spitting blood out of his mouth. That's what people were talking about. They weren't talking about how great the song Cold Gin was. They were talking about, oh my God, the guy spits blood. Yeah. I really think he made a deal with the devil.
Yeah, no, Bubba, that's absolutely fair. And bro, please, I want to make it 100% clear here. I never, ever in a million years would take anything away from Paul. It's exactly what you're saying, Bubba. It was the perception, the way you guys worked, slapped everybody in the face like Gene's spitting blood. So like everything else was kind of secondary because the presentation was so in your face. Bubba, I got to ask you this though. I want to get
one more point about ECW because whenever there's two kind of people in the world when it comes to ECW. There's the jealous and there's the very jealous. Unless you went through that company and experienced it firsthand, you will never know how truly great and special it really was. There was never a locker room like it, never a locker room that had the camaraderie that the ECW guys had. Yes, ECW did go out of business, but so did Napster. ECW is the Napster of pro wrestling. Napster went out of business, but Napster changed the music business forever. ECW went out of business, and ECW changed pro wrestling forever. To this day, people still clamor for the next ECW or a taste of ECW all over again. There's got to be a reason why.
Mm-hmm. Bubba, why? How can a Paul Heyman be at a WWE and be there for so long, and how do they not utilize his mind? And at this point, knowing Paul, because bro, I've had a couple of conversations with him. That's it. I tried to bring Paul into TNA. You know that. I brought Paul and Dixie together. If he was going to help our company, I was all for it, But number one, how do they not utilize him? Number two, at this point, knowing Paul, do you think he's just kind of waved the white flag as far as his input at the WWE creatively?
Well, when you are as creative as Paul and you have to deal with a boss who is as creative as Vince McMahon, this is going to happen. Mm-hmm. Okay? So they were using Paul for his mind. He was the head writer of SmackDown. He was working with a lot of talents. There was a time when SmackDown was more of the watched show than Raw. But as the head of creative, I think he fought every day with Vince. I think he fought a lot with Stephanie. And I think that just created too much of a problem. I think they found the right niche for Paul because Vince now has him as a performer, as one of the greatest talkers in the industry, as a guy who 10 times out of 10 will go out on TV and deliver a grand slam promo. But Vince also has Paul at his disposal now, where if he wants input on a storyline, if he wants input on a character, he can always turn to Paul. But giving Paul the pencil and giving him full control, it's a monster. He is gonna do things his way. He doesn't want to have to answer to anybody, and Vince wants people to answer to him. Yeah. So I think they found a real happy, relationship right now.
Okay, fair enough. No, and that's a good assessment, Bubba. Bubba, we gotta move on. You brought something up that has been a big part of my life for almost 40 years, 38 years, Bubba. 38 years, because on my 16th birthday, two things happened, bro. I got my driver's permit and I bought Rock and Roll Over. Okay? My 16th birthday, bro. Things were never the same after that. Okay? Take me any way you want me. Take me any way you can. Take me. Bubba, I through and through, supported Kiss my whole life. Okay, bro? Bro, over my bed when I was a kid, Bubba, I know you remember this. Bro, back in probably 76, 77, there was a series of 4 Kiss posters that were absolutely gorgeous. And here, the Gene one was taken from the boots up, so he looked like he was 50 foot tall. Bubba, that poster was behind my bed. And every time I came in that room, I looked at that poster, and there was nothing I couldn't do. Nothing I couldn't do, Bubba. My whole life, Bubba. Bubba, the concerts, the MTV when they took their makeup off, and I looked at Gene and I'm like, oh my God, he's a fat Jewish guy, which almost broke my heart, Bubba. But Bubba, I went to the concerts at the Coliseum, the no makeup concerts. Bro, I went through the I was made for loving you and wanted to kill myself. Okay, I went through Tommy Thayer. I went through Vinnie Vincent. I went through them all. Mark St. John, who couldn't play anymore because he got crippled. I went through Eric Carr. I saw Eric Carr, Radio City Music Hall, when the drum set was the Tank. I went through all this, bro. I met Gene at WCW when we were doing the Demon Gimmick. I cut vignettes with Gene. Okay, bro? All this. Then, bro, we come to this Rock and Roll Hall of Fame thing. And now Gene, Paul make the decision they're not going to play with Peter and Ace. Bro, very, very soured on my heroes from that point on. And I've had a hard time getting over the run. Bro, I'll tell you, Bubba, you know what kills me? And you'll appreciate this, okay? I hate fake bands. And Bubba, I'm more popish than you. I know you're a metal guy. Bubba, I'm more popish. Like, I like Styx. But, they kicked Dennis DeYoung out. So Styx is fake now. I will never pay to see a Styx concert as long as I live. Bro, Foreigner, Lou Gramm. You don't go see Foreigner. It's not Foreigner without Lou Gramm. Stop already. And, bro, the one that, because it's my favorite, bro.
Journey.
Bro, nobody has a Steve Perry voice. Bro, there's Frank Sinatra and Steve Perry. Bro,
Wait a minute. Don't forget about Jerry Vale.
Jerry Vale, bro. Bubba, I swear, I think, honestly, if you gave me $1 million to go see Fake Journey, I turned down $1 million. Okay? The only band that was able to go on without the lead singer, and tell me if there's another, is AC/DC. Correct?
Van Halen.
Okay, well, that's arguable, but I'll give you Van Halen. But so, bro, when Kiss became Fake Kiss, Dale Torborg hooks me up with free tickets because I'll never pay to go see Kiss. That's bro. But bro, I didn't mind it so much when Eric was the Fox and Vinnie Vincent was the Omega Man, whatever the freak he was. But bro, two things, Bubba. The minute they put on Ace's and Peter's makeup, and then on top of that, the Hall of Fame. Bubba, from one Kiss fan to another, please give me your spin on this.
I was very disappointed by the Hall of Fame because they should have put all of their personal reasons and all of the business reasons aside and played one song together. That's it. They should have had Ace and Peter up there. They could have played one song. They could have played 2 or 3 songs with the other guys, and then they could have brought Ace and Peter up for one. They should have done it for the fans because at the end of the day, that's really all that matters. I'm sure Paul and Gene have their reasons. One of the reasons I heard is that maybe Ace wouldn't look so good in his outfit anymore. Whatever it was, I think they disappointed a lot of fans. But guess what? That sour taste has gone away. And Kiss still sells out 15,000-seat arenas every single night. People forget about things and get over things really, really quick. Look at all the negative things you got through and that you're still a Kiss fan. You still listen to your Kiss songs, right?
Yeah, but let me ask you this, and I know you're a marketing guy. I know everything you did for ECW. I know everything you tried to do for TNA. So I know, bro, you understand marketing. What about the makeup thing, bro? Like, was that cool with you?
The makeup thing?
That they put the cat makeup on Eric Singer and the spaceman on Tommy Thayer. I mean, you're cool with that for marketing reasons?
It worked. People are still going. Did they turn some people off? Yes. But did they turn enough people off where they had to downsize and start playing 5,000-seat places? No. You can put, as long as Gene and Paul are there, you could put any other 2 people in that makeup. Regardless about how you feel personally and how I feel personally, it still works. And if you believe the rumors, one day it won't be the real Gene, and one day it won't be the real Paul, and they're still gonna sell tickets because Kiss are entertainers. It's a spectacle. It's a show. You want to be entertained, okay? So I kind of get what they've done, and the show must go on, and it did, and people didn't turn their back on them.
Hey, Bubba, I'm sure like me.
And oh, by the way, Paul Stanley does follow me on Twitter.
That's amazing to me. Thanks for pointing that out because
my good close personal friend Paul Stanley. Sometimes we even DM with each other.
Bro, how did that happen?
I don't know.
You told me that in when we were over there in California. I was so jealous.
Every single day I go on Twitter and make sure he's still following me.
Yeah, bro. I go on there to make sure Tom Green is still following me, and you got Paul Stanley. Hey, Bubba, let me ask you this. I know you read all 4 books, right?
The Kiss books?
Yeah. No. Which ones did you read?
I read Ace's book.
Oh my God. Bro, I got to tell you something because I'm going to tell you which book to read. First of all, let's talk about the Aces book. Bro, for a guy that was out of it 98.9% of the time, how can he factually remember anything that happened that we're supposed to read a book and believe it, bro?
I love Ace, but I was underwhelmed by his book.
Bro, I got to tell you what.
I was just waiting. I was like, okay, the next chapter, it's going to get good. The next chapter, it's going to get good. And it just never really took off.
Bro, I'll tell you what book you're gonna like the best. And oh, by the way, he happens to be Italian. But the Ace one, like, bro, come on, you can't believe anything in that, bro. Is there anybody on the planet, including Donald Trump, that puts themselves over more than Gene Simmons, bro? Anybody?
He's the king of marketing.
Bro, yeah. So the whole book is I'm putting myself over. That's the whole book. I think Paul kind of wanted to get painted as the victim with he had the 1 ear growing up and the kids made fun of him. Okay, Paul. And meanwhile today you got $50 billion in the bank and you follow Bubba. But bro, Peter Criss, bro. That the Italian, and he talks about the Italian roots, some gangster roots. But bro, you know why I love the Peter Criss book, and you need to read it? Because Bubba, he puts all the heat on himself. He takes blame for everything that happened. Him leaving the band, all the issues he had, doesn't pass the buck to anybody. Real Italian guy. You should read that book. You'll enjoy it.
I definitely will check it out. Speaking about books about, rock and roll bands, did you ever read Motley Crue's The Dirt?
No, I know about it, but I never read it, bro.
Are you a big Motley Crue fan?
Not really, no.
You don't even have to be to thoroughly enjoy this book. The Dirt is probably the greatest rock and roll book ever written. It's an incredible story. They did something very interesting. All 4 guys agreed to not collaborate. So the author of the book basically wrote a book with each guy and then put it together. And you're getting 4 different accounts of what happened on the same incidents. And you're getting people's personal perspectives, whether they were high on heroin, whether they were coked out, drunk, divorced. So by the end of the first chapter, you have no idea how these guys are even still alive. So The Dirt is a phenomenal read, and they're actually currently making it a movie.
Yeah, but let me ask you this, bro. I know you love all those the heavy metal bands because I used to hear you talk about them all the time. I know you love Van Halen, you and Irish Pat. I was never a big Van Halen guy, even though, bro, I think that I heard the greatest line of all time that I try to bring up at least once a month that came from David Lee Roth, bro. And my favorite line of all time was David Lee Roth said, Sammy Hagar goes to the party. I am the party, bro.
There you go. There's no doubt that David Lee Roth was the better lead singer. No doubt. Hagar did a pretty decent job. But David Lee Roth was the guy.
But see, bro, let me ask you this. See, Bubba, I want to get into your head a little bit because, bro, listen, the original Kiss, okay, bro, like once Ace was left and once Peter left, like I don't care who you would have put in their shoes. I never looked at the band the same. I wouldn't pay to go see them again. So like, how were you, big Van Halen fan, there's going to be no performer in the world like David Lee Roth. Once they go to Sammy Hagar, how do you just so easily make that transition?
Well, Sammy Hagar had a pretty cool little career before he joined Van Halen. So if you liked Sammy Hagar and then all of a sudden he jumped in with Van Halen, hey, this could be a good little mix. And it actually worked out. I still prefer David Lee Roth because David Lee Roth was a better entertainer, but I appreciated Sammy for what he did. And getting back to Kiss, you say, how do you listen to Kiss, without the original band members? How did people watch the Four Horsemen without the original Four Horsemen?
Yeah, but it was never the same, bro. It was never the same.
You're right. It's not the same, but it's not different enough to make you not want to listen anymore. And honestly, the best Kiss record ever written and recorded is not with Ace and Chris.
Tell me what it is, bro, because I'll tell you what I'll tell you what my favorite album is all time, and we could be on the same path here because my favorite album is not with those guys.
Kiss's best musical album is Revenge.
Really?
Yes.
Bro, you know what I'm a big mark for? I love Lick It Up.
Okay, but musically, Revenge
really, bro?
Was an edgier Chris, an edgier Kiss. I mean, go listen to Revenge. Revenge is a heavy album. Kulick and Eric Singer really helped bring a lot of the stuff out of them that, you know, they might have not even known they had inside them. I really liked Revenge.
Bubba, are you like me? Listen, and my wife makes fun of me all the time, and I don't care, bro. I really don't care. And Bubba, I know you're a decade behind me, okay? But Bubba, listen, I want to live in the 70s, and I want to live in the 80s, and I want to watch Antenna TV, and I want to watch All in the Family, and I want to watch Taxi, and I want to listen to my Kiss albums. I don't want to have anything to do with what's going on today. All the good stuff is over. It's done. Frank Sinatra's gone. The Rat Pack is gone, bro. I don't buy into anything today. Bubba, are you a lot like that, or are you more open to 2015?
There's nothing good on TV, and there hasn't been a quality rock and roll band to come out in years.
Why is that, Bubba? Why is that?
Well, with music now, I think the music industry is so controlled. You know, guys are only getting over that they want to get, you know, that the industry wants over. I don't believe there's any good rock and roll bands out there anymore because I don't think guys want to pay their dues anymore. I think guys just want, you know, that instant satisfaction. Nothing really turns me on anymore when it comes to TV entertainment or music entertainment. Like TV show wise, I watch a lot of like stuff about on Discovery, about like Planet Earth, where I watch things like Shark Tank. I watch a lot of educational stuff that, you know, because the good mindless entertainment is not around anymore. Give me Happy Days, give me Laverne and Shirley, you know, give me The Odd Couple. Give me the Honeymooners. You know, give me all that stuff.
Bubba, what about WPIX? Every night, The Odd Couple and Honeymoon is back to back. Oh, bro. Bubba, come on, man. Come on, bro.
Yeah.
Now, Bubba, listen, you told me that you were going to be an open book on this interview, right?
Yeah.
Okay, now, you just brought up the honeymoons.
Actually, I didn't tell you I was going to be an open book on the interview. You threw that in and put me on the spot because what am I going to say no?
And first of all, Bob, I do want to say this before I get into you being an open book, and I'm going to use the honeymooners as a segue, and you'll see why I'm the Oprah of podcasting. But first of all, Bubba, the only artist that I followed today, and I have a little issue with you on this because I didn't like when you said it, quite honestly. The only artist I follow today, and I'm absolutely in love with and have been in love with for years, is the beautiful and talented Rihanna. And when I told you I was a Rihanna mark, you told me she was dirty, bro, and I was offended by that. You still go by that? She's dirty. She's dirty. Hey, Bubba, speaking of dirty, go ahead. What do you
like about Rihanna?
Oh, bro, she is. Bro,
what?
She's just everything, man. She's just everything, bro.
Well, I want to get into this a little more.
I'm in love with this woman. In love with this woman.
Why?
Bro, any woman that is that red hot, and she's exotic hot. She's exotic red hot with that kind of an attitude, right? With that Caribbean little accent going on. Oh, bro, come on, man.
Maybe I should start calling you Cologio.
Who's Cologio?
The kid from A Bronx Tale.
Oh, bro, speaking of Cologio, Bubba, what do you think about, Bubba, let me ask you this, bro. Bubba, because I'm absolutely mesmerized by this, bro. And maybe I've got issues. I don't know. Bubba, I can't stop talking about this Caitlyn Jenner. What's your take on this thing, bro?
Ratings. I thought you'd love it because it's all about the ratings.
Bro, I'm so mesmerized by this. I can't get enough of Caitlyn Jenner, Bubba.
I'm not quite sure how a man who wins the manliest of man sports at the Olympics, the decathlon, how do you go from that to where you are now? I don't understand it. Like, not like I don't understand it, meaning like I just don't understand it. How did this happen? I just don't get it. And I'm not in favor of ESPN giving him an award for bravery and courage when I personally think there are so many more people out there. I'll take one person that the wrestling world knows. Take a guy like Christopher Melendez. Okay?
Yeah.
That he trained with me and Demon. Here's a guy who wanted to do two things with his life. He wanted to serve his country and he wanted to become a pro wrestler. Well, he goes to Afghanistan, and 2 weeks before he has to come home, he steps on a mine and blows off his freaking leg.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay?
Yep.
He blows off his leg, part of his arm, part of his face. He doesn't let it stop him. He still comes to wrestling school. He successfully goes through that. He becomes a wrestler on TV. He's a dad. He's a Roma. To me, that's bravery and courage. Right?
Oh, yeah, no, bro, listen, anybody who doesn't know that's not ratings for ESPN, I mean, that's what that is all about. It's so obvious, bro. I definitely. My opinion on it. I'm not taking any shots at. Yeah, no, I hear you.
Or whatever, He wants to, if this is the way he wants to live his life for the rest of his life, more power to him. Whatever he wants to do. I'm not in favor of giving him the award.
Okay. Now, Bubba, we got to move on to other things because you said you're an open book here. And Bubba, listen, I'm going to tell you up front, Bubba, because I'm going to be honest with you. I know
where you're going now.
I tell all my guests this, Bubba. People have cried on this show. Just so you know, grown women have cried on this show. So I'm just giving you that as a little prelude with this next line of questioning. Now, you opened up the book. I wasn't even going to go here. I wasn't even going to think about going here. You open up the book yesterday. You send me a Twitter picture, and it says, my wife is in the sink taking a bath, and there is the lovely Velvet with her feet in the sink.
That wasn't a picture of Velvet.
Who was that?
That was a picture I found on Facebook that I thought would be funny.
I'm going to say it's Velvet. So you start this whole thing.
Hell of a segue, you schmuck.
You said it. Listen, bro. Listen, I'm sorry. We got to talk about this Velvet thing, Bubba, because I'm fascinated by it.
It's been bothering you for a long time,
bro. Every time you and I talk on the phone, we somehow wind up down this road. I got to talk to you about this Velvet thing. But you have to tell me. Come on, be honest with me, bro. Like nobody can ask you these questions but me because they'd be afraid to death. You got to be honest with me. Now, we're working at TNA together, and Velvet's working at TNA. And listen, bro, people have to understand this about Velvet. Let me say this up front, because here's what people don't understand. There's a zillion hot women in professional wrestling. There's too many to count, okay? And Velvet is right up there at the top of the list. But it's not just her looks. This girl's heart is freaking unbelievable. So it takes her beauty and it takes it to a whole other stratosphere of Velvet. She's got the heart of an angel. Even, have you ever heard this story once, Bubba? Has she ever shared this story with you? Bro, I was doing a video shoot with the Beautiful People, right, bro? And it was the first time I really worked with Velvet and Angelina. Has she told you this?
Keep telling the story and I'll see.
So, bro, I'm in the front seat. The Beautiful Velvet and Angelina are in the back seat. Bro, guess who I'm interviewing right after you? The Newlyweds, bro. The Newlyweds.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Right after I go, bro, wait till I get to that line of questioning.
Okay.
So, Bubba, I'm in the front seat. The lovely Velvet and Angelina are in the back, right? Somebody calls Velvet on the cell phone. Now, bro, keep in mind, I don't know Velvet that well at this point. I just know she's gorgeous, she's beautiful, very nice to me, very respectful. But, bro, somebody calls her on the phone, and it had to do with I think her brother and her brother's girlfriend, or something was going on. And like for the next 5 minutes, Velvet went into detail of what she was going to physically do to this girl when she saw it. And bro, I was sitting in the front seat, like not believing what I was hearing. And it was like, if this girl didn't have my heart before, she's definitely got it now, bro. I'll never forget that, because I never thought there was that side of Velvet.
Right.
Okay, let's get to the questioning now. So we're at TNA together. I'm married for 31 years, so like I'm watching the scenery. I'm just, I'm observing, and now we have Bubba. And listen, just for those of you who don't know, I like to refer to Bubba as a Disney villain. And I always refer to him that way. Look at his face now. Look, you see what I mean? He's straight out of the Disney villains. So he's got the Disney villain thing going. Look at him. See? Yeah. Like if you know him, like you know what's going on. Yeah, look at him. Now, Bubba, I gotta answer me seriously now. As honestly as you can. Bubba is in another relationship. I'm Bubba. Velvet is in another relationship. While she's in it, and there are multiple beautiful girls backstage, but while Velvet is in another relationship, okay, do you have your eye on Velvet, or do you just see Velvet as a beautiful angel, like the rest of us do, or do you have your eye on her that, yeah, God, I wish she was single, available, and it could be something more?
No, absolutely not. Because I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do that to anybody else in the business.
Okay,
I wouldn't want that done to me. So I would look at that as disrespectful. Me and her have been friends from day one.
Okay,
we've known each other for 8 years, and we just our personalities always clicked on a friendly level.
Okay, beautiful. Okay, all right. So now the relationship ends. We've been friends on a friendly level for a certain number of years, right? So, bro, listen, and you got to understand, I'm living vicariously through you because I've been married for 31 years. I'm dead, bro. I'm just as good as dead, okay? So now, bro, do we have, is there a conversation to bring this to the next level? Is there a Bubba line, or does it kind of organically just happen?
Totally organic. Because she was in a relationship. I was in a relationship outside. I was in a relationship for a very short time in the wrestling business, but I had a 3-year relationship outside of the wrestling business. So she was going through her tough times in her relationship. I was going through my tough times in my relationship. We were always friendly. We had always seen each other at TV. We had hung out in the same circles sometimes, after shows, going out to eat or going out to have a drink. And we always just got along. So me and her relationship, what it is today, was probably the foundation for it was being poured years and years ago just on friendship. So after she, got out of her relationship and I got out of mine, it was kind of like we just started talking, and we found out that we had so much in common in the things that went wrong with our relationships. We knew we had got along so well. We just started talking, and, that's it. It's happened to a million people before. This is not like I walk up to her and I'm like, hey, can I buy you a drink, baby? It's not that at all.
Bro, I'm not interested in a million people. I'm interested in you and Velvet. Bro, the problems you had with your the other half of the relationship and the problems she had, were they wrestling related problems? What were those problems caused because of wrestling?
My problems were caused inadvertently by wrestling because my schedule was affecting my relationship, because I was with somebody that lived 1,500 miles away. And she was in a relationship with a wrestler where I'm not sure if wrestling affected their relationship or not. I think they had more, personal problems than anything else, and it just wasn't working out.
So, Bubba, is it, you both have the, wrestling background. Does that make it easier or does that make it harder sometimes, or a little bit of both?
It makes things easier because, like, when I was in my relationship outside of wrestling, I would talk to my girlfriend about, wrestling, but she would never fully understand. So I wouldn't talk a lot about it because I would tell her, it's going to take me 3 days to tell you the backstory before I even get to the point of what's wrong. So now that I'm with somebody that's in the business, she totally understands if I have frustration or if something's bothering me. So she's a lot easier to talk to when it comes to wrestling. On a personal level, we get along phenomenally. We like the same things. We're actually together like 24/7. We like to do everything together, which is, really, really cool. Because you don't find somebody very often that you genuinely like to be around all the time. And we both have those personalities where it could be very easy for us to say, okay, you need to go away for a little while. But we never do that. She's in the business. She's easier to talk to. But then there comes the time in the business where sometimes our different levels of being in the business will affect a conversation. So every once in a while, she has to deal with listen, I've been around a little bit longer than you. I kind of know the ins and outs of how this game is played. Like, I don't think Velvet was ever really exposed to the real bad parts of the business. And the higher you get in the business, the more exposed you become to the nasty, backstabbing, selfish parts of the business. So sometimes we have discussions about that, and I have to really kind of open her eyes to how, screwed up things can be at times. But that's about the only time that we might see differently for just, for a little while on the business.
Bro, where is Velvet from?
Connecticut.
Okay, she was born and raised in Connecticut, right?
Yeah.
So, bro, I'm assuming you've met the parents?
Oh, absolutely.
And that was a beautiful thing?
You're just trying to find something negative because
bro, listen. As much as I love Velvet, you don't think I'd want to see her with somebody like you? Are you out of your mind? Come on now.
I met the parents.
All right. Hey, Bubba, I got to ask you this. I know, okay, you're really not giving me any dirt there, so I'm going to move on.
You didn't ask for dirt.
I can't
ask for dirt.
Bro, I can't ask you for dirt.
You want dirt? Go ahead. Ask the dirt question.
I can't. Not because
what do you want to know?
Because it's Velvet, bro.
What do you want to know?
Okay, let's move on to the next topic.
I gave you the opportunity, but you punked out.
Okay, Bubba, listen, I know you're a big soccer guy, and you schooled me on soccer in our last phone call, which I was very grateful for. I see you're wearing a Yankee hat. Are you really a big Yankee guy?
Yeah, I grew up, my grandmother was a huge Yankee fan. So back when the Yankees in New York were on WPIX every single night because they showed every game, I was up with my grandmother watching the Yankees play every single night. Since 1977, which would have put me around 6 years old, I started to watch Yankee games. So, and then my dad was a Yankee fan, so I grew up in a Yankee household, always followed the Yankees, was always a Yankee fan. It's a little bit hard to be a Yankee fan right now because their team is in transition. But yeah, always been a Yankee fan.
Bro, are you still talk regularly to, I'm sure you do though. You still talk regularly with Tommy and Taz?
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Bro, why does it always seem Taz is mad at somebody, bro?
Because he is.
And bro, I got to tell you, listen, I was at the end of that wrath, and it was ugly, bro. It was ugly. So, I'm so thankful not to be at the end of that wrath. But, bro, every time I go on Twitter, Taz is mad at somebody else.
Correct.
Bro, what is it like when I can't imagine? Listen, bro, when Taz is on, you talk about backpedaling. When I'm at the other end of Taz's wrath, I know enough to backpedal because he's never going to be wrong. I mean, I think we both know that. He's never going to be wrong. Bro, what happens when you and him are at odds? How does that work?
He loses.
Does he really, bro?
Damn right he does.
Okay, well, that's interesting right there. Bro, you know what?
There's only one person in this entire industry who stands up to him the way he deserves to be stood up to.
And that's you, bro.
Every single time.
Wow, okay, that's interesting.
Ask him. Let's see if he tells the truth.
Bro, I'll be honest with you. Let me tell you something about Ask Him, okay? Bro, I do Taz's old podcast before he was on the new one. Then somebody got in his ear and he hated me for a long period of time. And I was very thankful he called me out of the blue around Christmas time. I got to stop this. Hold on for a second, bro. He called me out of the blue around Christmas time, buried the hatchet, was starting a new, and I'm going to give it the plug, the Human Podcast Show, I think it's called, the CBS thing. Is that what it's called, the Human Podcast Machine? The Human Podcast Machine. On the CBS network, and he gives me the old, all right, Vince, I want you to come on my show. We bury the hatchet. I do your show, you do my show. Okay, Taz, no problem. So I go on Taz's show for the second time. So now I've got two in Taz's show. Taz has nothing in my show. So now, bro, every time I try to get Taz on the show, it's not a real good time right now. Or, I can't really talk about things right now. I can't get him to come on the show, bro. You ever hear of anything like this?
Why don't you call him and tell him to come on the show?
I got a call. It's going to take a phone call because, it's going to
call him, text him, FaceTime him, tweet him, send him a freaking smoke signal. Tell him, listen, come on my show.
And Bubba, let's do this because I got to talk to the newlyweds like in 2 minutes. But I want to do
No. You don't cut my time.
Yeah, anyway, the newlyweds. Well, yeah, okay.
Stay on for another 2 hours. Okay, I'll stay on for another 2 hours.
That's true.
You can tell the newlyweds to wait. Who did they ever beat?
Exactly. Hey, Bubba, you're a big Stern guy. I got to think, right?
Actually, not that much.
Really, huh?
A fan, grew up listening to him, but not like a diehard at all.
Yeah. Hey, Bubba, you know what I want to do before we go? I want to make sure we get this in because I love you guys. And every interview I do, I always say it. I know Tommy is doing the House of Hardcore now, and I know you're involved in that. Let's talk to me a little bit about that. I know there's a TV deal. I know Tommy's growing that thing. I'd love to give that the plug since we're doing this. So just tell me a little bit about that.
Me and Tommy have always talked about doing our own thing in the wrestling business, about starting a company that had the same type of mindset of an ECW, that type of passion, that type of camaraderie, that type of level of entertainment for the fans. House of Hardcore is not an ECW ripoff. It kind of tips its hat to old ECW with a lot of modern day, pro wrestlers and stories. And going back to what I said, like wrestling should be a nice buffet of different matches and styles and talents and characters. That's what we try to give you with House of Hardcore. And Tommy is working so hard to really get House of Hardcore to the level we want to be it to be at. I mean, he's done 9 House of Hardcore shows. Every single one of them is sold out. The fans always have a great time. The wrestlers love working for House of Hardcore. And with all of these different companies popping up and wrestling going through a new boom of kind of like the old school territories, we just call them independents now. We're hoping that House of Hardcore really, jumps to the forefront because it's really going to be done the right way. And it is being done the right way, in our opinion. He's on FightNet in Canada, and there are some things being worked on in the U.S. that if they hit, House of Hardcore is going to be pretty well known pretty damn quick.
Okay, now, Bubba, one last thing. You said it happened organically, and I'm just wondering. Now, the first time, Bubba, like there's an intimate relations, shall we say, with you and the lovely Miss Velvet. Like, do you do you have to pinch yourself? Do you like, is this real? Is this, am I dreaming? Like, just give me a little bit of that flavor.
Yes, there was a lot of pinching going on, but it wasn't of myself.
Unbelievable. You got it, bro. You got it all. You just got it all.
What can I tell you?
Hey, Bubba, I'm going to ask you this last question. I don't watch TNA. I really don't watch it at all, but I watched it a couple of weeks ago because I wanted to get caught up on it.
You watch it every single.
No, I don't.
I know it.
But I was happy I watched it.
One and your lube on the side.
But Bubba, I gotta tell you this. I'm happy I watched it because I saw Velvet come from the crowd, and I saw a new look Velvet, and I was sitting there thinking that's got Bubba's name written all over it. Did you have a lot to do with that? Because I loved it. Yeah, we actually went shopping together, and we knew, her personality is more of that person you heard in the car that day. I've been telling Velvet since day one, something happened in the womb. I always tell her she's one chromosome away from having 8 inches. She's a dude. She is an obese black man trapped in a hot white girl's body. This look that you see of her, that's more of her. She's very edgy, and she's actually, as soft as she is, she's really hard. And I think that this new look looks great on her. And I think the fans really like it also because we've seen her from day one doing the girly girl stuff and the sexy girl stuff. She's a huge fan of Sons of Anarchy and Gemma. So I think we're seeing a side of her that she's ultra comfortable with and that she looks super hot in. Well, Bubba, I have that. Now that you've brought up this other side of Velvet, it opens up the question, and I think it's totally in line because you brought it up and not me. Is there spanking involved, and are you on the other end of that spanking? Yes, every once in a while she puts me over her knee, spanks me. Yes, she makes me cook her dinner in the apron, and then if I do a good job, she spanks me. Bro, listen, we cannot end this interview on a higher note than that, Bubba. And this is only the first interview. This is going to be like, Bubba, this is going to be like Nixon Frost, I think. We got to have more interviews like this because you and I could talk for days and for hours. This is only the end of session number 1. But I hope you will once again join us on the show. It has been, listen, an absolute pleasure, bro. And not this. I mean, this was great. But knowing you, being my friend for so long, working from you, learning from you, Bubba, I just want to thank you so much for being you. Oh, thank you, man. I appreciate you having me on. It's a lot of fun. Yes, we could talk for hours. And we could talk for hours about everything but wrestling. But, I know your fans do tune in. They want to hear cool wrestling stories. And I think we did a pretty good job of giving them something different today that they don't really get to hear, on other shows that I've done. So, it was a lot of fun. I know you're very, very intrigued by my relationship. I know every day you put your head on your pillow before you go to bed. You look at your wife and you say to yourself, how the hell did Bubba do it? Yeah, and Bubba, in wrestling, this is what I say about every wrestling show, the only thing they remember is the last thing. So you've left us with the image of you bent over Velvet's knee and her spanking, and I'm going to assume it's a bare bottom. Oh, absolutely, it's a bare bottom. Oh, bare bottom. Yep. Yeah, they're going to have a field day with that one on social media. Yeah, use that as a headline. There you go, bro. Hey, Bubba, don't go anywhere. I'm going to wrap up. Then I want to say goodbye to you personally. Cool? Yeah, no problem. There you go, everybody. Bubba, we got the scoop. Velvet, if you take anything out of this interview, just take this. Velvet puts Bubba over her knee. I think she pulls down the drawers. Then spanks him. Nobody else is going to talk about that. Only here, Vince Russo, the Swerve, the Oprah Podcast. Thanks for joining me. I'll be here next week.
The preceding presentation was brought to you by the Realm Network.